So that's going to bring us up to our last division in the Eastern Conference, which is going to be the Southeast. We're going to start it off with the Atlanta Hawks, who did win the division last year. Oh, I'm sorry. They came in second division. I don't know why they have them above Miami in this, but they went 41-41. And my biggest problem with the Hawks, to me, they were the most upsetting team last year, other than my Pelicans, but that's just 'cause I'm a fan. Yeah. They just upset me. But the Hawks, I had such high expectations for. What happened to the Hawks team that was fighting for, that second and third spot in the East? They go and make some moves and stuff like that. Still ride on the back of Trae Young. They go sign Capella, a couple other guys, and it hasn't looked good at all. Like, they started off the season, I think, with a couple of losses, and we were like, oh, wow, we didn't expect that coming. Do we think anything's going to change?
Yeah,
Are they going to stay mediocre? This is a team that has talent that should not be playing in play-in, and if they are in play-in, they should be at like the 7th spot and only need to win one game, not miss the playoffs completely.
Yes. I think with the talent on this damn team, the skills on this team, it should not be what happened last year. But also, I think the ownership shouldn't have announced to the world that they were going to trade their star. Like, what is that about?
Very. They're pulling the old Indianapolis Colts. If you're a fan of the NFL situation, like, why are you announcing that right now? Like save it for later. There's no point in saying that now. Like, what's that going to do for him or for you? Or for any team player that wants to possibly come to you? You're already going to dog your star out within the midway part of the season. It blows my mind. They do go ahead and re-sign.
I want to go somewhere else.
True. They did go ahead and re-sign DeJounte Murray, and they also did receive Patty Mills in a trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder, which I think is, a good upgrade, but it's not like their backcourt wasn't great as it is. They just defensively, they struggle. They don't play great defense. I don't know how much help Patty Mills will be with that. DeJounte Murray was supposed to be the saving grace with his defensive plays, and it's not that he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great like a lot of people expected. I think they should be in this like high to mid B section, but I think they're either high C or like, right in the middle of B. Like, I'm kind of cool with putting them at B, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking that bottom B. I'm bottom B for them.
Bottom B for them. Yeah, that's how I feel,
B.
man. It's a prove me wrong league, man. There's a lot of games, and whenever you watch teams that are skillful and have all the talent around them, and they don't perform at the level that you expect them to, that weighs on you, and that has to weigh on your predictions. And that's how I feel about it. Is that I don't feel like some of them really want to play the game of basketball or something. I don't know. But that'll bring us up to our Miami Heat, who contended for the championship last year, but have also lost a lot of pieces this offseason. A lot of pieces that failed them in the finals, but are also a big part as to why they were there in the first place, and that is Strus and Vincent. Now, you would hope that they're going to go ahead and get a healthy Tyler Hero back, even though he has expressed some displeasures, much like Jaylen Brown, with the organization and how he's played and the management, which confuses me because I felt like they paid you more than what they should have, and you got injured. What are they supposed to do with you? You had an injured shooting hand. That, I don't understand it. But what do we think about Miami going into this year? Can they do a surprising repeat or what?
I mean, with being the fact that they're in the East, yes, because the East is weak. It's weak. So you can be the Miami Heat and still get to the playoffs. You can do that. Because as we're going through this list, how many teams are these so far? Just the East teams, you know what I'm saying?
All these. This is all East.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And there's only very facetious when I say that.
And there's only two that I'm like really confident of. Like, oh, these are guaranteed playoff teams. Now, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of these guys in the B are playoff teams, but like Celtics and Bucks, those are my guarantees. really all the rest, I could see the Nets slipping in there somehow. I could see the Raptors suddenly getting good. I could see the Bulls suddenly getting healthy, and, taking out the Hawks or taking off the Cavs. Like, it's not very competitive. And when you say that, it's like, well, one, Miami is coached very well. They're probably he probably had the second best coach in the league right now. I still love Greg Popovich. Until he retires. Eric Spoelstra is damn good. They're a very well-run organization, and they compete. For that reason, it's like, I don't think talent-wise they're at the A, but I made this mistake last year, and I could be right. I think they're at the highest of B when it comes to this. What do you think?
I think because of how the East is laid out, putting them in the A is not a bad choice because of how the East is. Yeah. Because they always find a way to get to the playoffs. They always find a way. They do.
Jimmy Buckets, I think Bam Adebayo, and Hero. We'll see if they can pull off another miracle. I mean, they win because of great coaching and because of a lot of heart. I mean, if they can figure out how to get Bam to play the way he played in some of those series where he was just dominant, and get him to like truly fit, they'll be a scary team again.
All the time,
they'll be scary.
If we can do that all the time,
and then that's going to bring us up to our Washington Wizards, who were 35-47 last year. Let me see. Let me pull up some information on the Wizards real quick, because I know they did a couple of things. They re-signed Taj Gibson. They got a Jared Butler. I don't think he's the same as Jimmy, though. Yeah, they did re-sign Kyle Kuzma to a big contract. Oh, and they grabbed Jordan Poole. That's what I was forgetting. Let's talk about that for a second.
They got Patrick Baldwin Jr. and Ryan Rollins, two very good shooters, and they're still young. Like this team got shooters.
Man, and I'll tell you what, is this, because I know this was like a multi-way trade. Did they ended up also getting Tyus Jones from the Grizzlies as well as Landry Shamet, or was that part of the three-way that they got traded off? You see Tyus Jones on there?
Is on the roster.
Is Shamet on the roster as well? Oh, okay. That makes things a little interesting. Because you know what? I'm interested to see Jordan Poole in a starting position. I really am. And he looks unhappy. Everybody's kind of trolling about how he looks depressed over there and all this stuff. But Jordan Poole, as much as he clowns around because he loves the game of basketball. We all wish he would take it a little more serious every now and then. But he loves the game of basketball. That's why he clowns so much. So him, hopefully he gets settled in, win a couple games, and get happy, and then become dangerous. They could be a shocking team, man. I don't know if I'd want to put them in the C. I kind of have them like at this bright future spot in this tier list.
I think, okay, so being a Warriors fan and actually being one of the few fans that actually like Jordan Poole, I understand he played bad in the playoffs, but we all played bad in the playoffs. So with that, I'm okay with that. He still averaged 20 points. He got to the line 8.8 times a game. He is very mischievous with his ball handling. He knows how to play the game. Like he learned behind good people. It sucks when you're that talented and you're behind a Hall of Famer. You're not going to start. That's just what it is. You're not going to start. So him coming here to the Washington Wizards is a brand new start for him. He has Kyle Kuzma, who is not a bum, but now Kyle Kuzma can actually play like he's supposed to play. He has somebody he can play with. It's not just, not saying the players that were there were bums. It's just somebody who is of a higher caliber, that has a title under his name and knows how to play the game of basketball really well and really fast. Jordan Poole now, from my understanding, has been actually taking a true leadership role with this team, and he's learning all the players' names. He's in contact with them quite often. He paid for them to fly out to Los Angeles, all the players, so they can have a tryout or workouts together. Like, he's really becoming the leader. A leader that this team needs. Not saying Kyle Kuzma is not a leader for this team, but being that he's coming in with the big bag, he needs to be that role and be that leader. I think if he plays to the potential that I think he can, Jordan Poole's going to average 26 to 27 points a game. I guarantee you that.
Oh, that's a big guarantee. I like it though. I will make sure, based off of what you said, I will play the overs on Jordan Poole every week. And then the last person to wrap up the
The
Eastern
future is
Conference
bright for them.
and to wrap up the Southeast, we have. Oh, I'm sorry. We have two more teams. We have the Orlando Magic, who finished off 34-48 last year. And this is a team that last year we thought weren't going to be nowhere near as good as what the Pistons were. And they actually had a lot of good games. They won against some opponents that we didn't expect them to. Their draft pick last year in goodness, why am I forgetting his name now?
Paolo Banchero.
Yes, and Paolo Banchero, he is looking like a stud. The dude is lengthy. He is strong. He's a good shooter. He's a good finisher at the rack. He's still young. He's going to play some good defense. This team has a bright, bright future. And I'd almost put him above all of the people that are on this list so far. I think the Orlando Magic could make a couple moves and be a contending team within the next couple of years. Because they are, unlike the Detroit Pistons, are moving in an upwards trajectory, getting more and more wins each season as this young core develops.
The benefit of them being in the East, this team could make the playoffs this season. This team as structured right now can make the playoffs this season. Because of how the East is.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And that'll bring us to our last team, which is the Charlotte Hornets. They were riddled with a bunch of injuries. They go ahead and I don't remember the guy's name, but I've been seeing him all over Twitter and Instagram lately. Ty Jones. He was drafted in 2021, and he has just not shown up to voluntary practices. And there is now doubts that he will actually be on the team. Instead of coming to practices, he's been posting videos on TikTok and on social media. And this goes back to the topic that we talk about over and over again on this channel, especially during lives and during some of our podcasts, of just how social media is destroying sports in a very unfortunate way. But Charlotte Hornets, man, I mean, they're just trash, man. I mean, you know, you'd like to say they have a bright future because of LaMelo Ball. I think he's a very special talent. He's starting to become injury prone, just like his brother. They are having all kind of incidents with players, with arrests. Now this thing with Jones and some other things. I don't see Charlotte Hornets getting out of the woodworks for a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, they're going to be exciting in certain nights, but as far as them being a competitor for the playoffs, I just don't know, man. I don't see it. There's some good young players on that team, but cohesively, I don't see it. And I think trash is probably a good place for them.
Yeah, I agree.